Hi everyone, my name's Brendon Schulze, and today I'm looking at Shinji Mikami's newest game, Vanquish, from Sega and Platinum Games. Now, is it out just in time to make year-end award lists, or will it wind up populated used bins this holiday season? Let's examine!
Shut up, man!
You shut up, man!
Vanquish begins on a bit of a down note. The complete destruction of San Francisco by way of space lasers sets up the premise of a near future where resources are so precious that the United States has constructed a large space station to harness the power of the sun and thus solves their energy shortage. However, the Russian Federation captures the station, turns into a weapon of mass destruction, microwaves the Bay Area, and demands an unconditional surrender of the United States while threatening New York with a similar fate. The player then takes control of Sam Gideon, a member of the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, or DARPA. Sam adorns the augmented reaction suit and joins a company of Marines to retake the space station. Without any initial knowledge of the premise, I immediately enjoyed the opening moments of the game. Set in a futuristic environment, the classic battle between the United States and Ivan grounds the whole affair. However, the story somewhat fizzles from there. Characters fail to develop, and the game, from a narrative perspective, boils down to clearing a series of rooms, disabling guns, and similarly simple tasks designed to keep you progressing through the space station. The popular school of thought believes that so long as the gameplay is fun, a subpar story is forgivable, and by and large that's true. But with Vanquish, the opening cinematics created such an interesting premise, it left me disappointed that the game's narrative didn't play out to its full potential. The first, and perhaps most apt comparison this game will receive is to Gears of War. It's the fate of most cover-based third-person shooters to be weighed against this title. However, I can assure you immediately that this is far from a cheap Gears knockoff. Leading up to the release of Vanquish, Sega has been really pushing the speed and fluidity of the action. In fact, the words fast, fluid, and frenetic appear on the box. Vanquish delivers on this promise in spades. The combat is fast, hectic, and at times genuinely out of control, while simultaneously never overloading the player. This is largely due to the boost in the AR mode. What would normally be a running mechanic in a third-person shooter has been replaced with an insanely fast boost, allowing the player to find cover quickly or traverse large distances in an instant. The AR mode then slows down time to allow for more accurate shots and faster reflexes. Both the boost and the AR mode are controlled by a meter that, if exhausted, overheats Sam's suit and makes you wait during a short cooldown period before using them again. The AR mode will automatically kick in if you receive a critical amount of damage. But this makes for some of the game's most exciting moments, creating a sense of urgency while allowing the player to pull off some impressive shots and maneuvers. Utilizing the boost or AR mode, you can choose to keep up with the pace of the action or slow things down to a crawl depending on the situation. Figuring out the timing is a necessity because this game can actually be quite difficult. Nearly all enemies, bosses in particular, have at least one way to kill you instantly, and that caused some moments where I nearly threw my controller across the room. While this is frustrating and, in the moment, not very fun, it ultimately proves to make for a more satisfying experience when you defeat a boss or a particularly difficult section. It forces you to learn your enemies and develop a strategic plan of attack. While the game is noticeably short, about 6 or 7 hours, with no multiplayer, Vanquish features some elements of replayability. The arcade-style scoring between missions and unlockable tactical challenges may bring you back for more. However, since I enjoyed the campaign so much, I was left wanting more content. Vanquish looks fantastic. With dozens of characters battling it out on screen, while you're boosting and slowing down time all over the place, nothing misses a beat. Sam's suit moves and transforms flawlessly, and even switching weapons looks cool. The level design, while similar in palette throughout the game, boasts an impressive degree of variety. Collapsing bridges and tumbling towers all bring huge set pieces that augment and interact with the battlefield. The wide range of enemies are all presented with noticeable intricacy, while the larger bosses are very impressive in their scale. Some of the more organic backgrounds like water don't look as good as the technologically inclined space station, but those places are few and far between. Given the speed of the combat, the controls in Vanquish had to be top-notch. Luckily, they are just that. Boost, dodge, and aim are exactly as responsive as they needed to be, and keep you moving at the right pace. The weapon select is similar to that of Gears of War, with the directional pad selecting your preferred means of destruction. The use of AR takes a little more finesse, however, as it requires a dodge followed by a quick aim. You need to quickly master this technique, and by the end of the game should be able to seamlessly combine boosts, melee attacks, and firepower all within AR modes. The sound in Vanquish is appropriate for the occasion. The electro score is fitting for a Japanese-style game set on a space station featuring giant mechs and surly space marines. The voice acting is sufficient, although only really functions as an interruption in between giving Russian space robots a what for. Most noticeable in the sound department are the effects, which are a fitting cacophony of machine gun fire mixed with robotic movements, accented by sweet, sweet environmental destruction. This fall sees the return of a few franchise mainstays. While it may get lost in the shuffle of sequels, Vanquish is an extremely surprising game for me. It was fast, exciting, and seriously fun to play. Believe me when I tell you that this game is absolutely bananas, and I loved every minute of it. While the story isn't much to talk about and the experience as a whole felt a little bit too short, I highly recommend this game for anyone looking for something new this season.
For even more game reviews, head over to blog.machinima.com/reviews.